My presentation is starting with a sort of recap. Let me open the stage. This is the title of my presentation that is dedicated to the future, also to the Fred project. We're approaching the end. We're very sad about that because in next month, end of May, the project will be finished. And so we are thinking how to capitalize and to better exploit what we achieved during these 2 years of project. First of all, due to the fact that I see a big number of people connected, and probably there are some people that never had an idea of what Fred 2 is. Let me start with a brief recap of what Fred 2 has been originated. First of all, I have to say, as Mrs. Zara mentioned before, Fred 2 derives from an AUAF call for proposal. We submitted in 2022. You can see the program. This was the goldfish of the entire AUAF funds, and we selected, as you can see highlighted in red, the TRI 02 conference, workshops, and seminar, which is the one that Fred focused with. So a very original fact be considered, as you can see in red, to manage also the recovery and the resilience facility, which was a novelty in the background, in the scenario of European funds. As you probably know, the name of Fred is Fred 2. Why Fred 2? Because we had a previous version in the beginning of the program, in which there wasn't really a focus on recovery and resilience facility and less money. In the Fred 2 project, we gained on the overall budget of 1,100,000 euro from the TRI, the entire 4 topics for the call. We started to select this topic and to proceed, thanks with the big help of the Italian COLAF. I can see connected the Colonel Cruciani, Logotan and Vincenzo Branchi and other people, which were crucial for the submission. We submitted, as you can see, the last row on the 14th of June 2022. I remember perfectly that date for 2 reasons. One is my wedding anniversary, and secondly, I was very sick with the COVID in that time, so it was a terrible time for myself. Another big element to be remembered talking about Fred 2 is that the project is an outcome of a postgraduate training course of Sapienza, which is called Master in European Project Formulation. And this project has been submitted by students, by participants. And this is the strong element. Of course, they were coordinated by my humble person. Let me proceed saying which is the Fred 2 systems. What we, since the beginning, we think to focus on 12 European level events between conferences, seminars, workshops, and study visits, because of course the focus is better to match the 2 words that are not communicating strongly, the words of academia and the practitioner one. Furthermore, to these 12 European events, we, since the beginning, start thinking about create an anti-fraud observatory in Italy, of course, but with a trans-European perspective. So for this reason, we involved 4 universities across Europe, and in the same country belonging, originating of the international partners, also thanks to the Italian AFCOS, the related AFCOS in that country. Another big issue of the problem, another big objective was the creation of the so-called experiential collab learning. We are lecturer, and so we are very familiar with the experiential collab because once again, Fred 2 project is an outcome of an experiential collab during the training course. And what we try to boost it in these years are competence, skills, and framework related, of course, to the world of European fraud and irregularities. This is the system. The identity card, I put the image of my identity card and I substituted with the logo of creative projects. Again, I already anticipated the consortium. Unluckily, it is a mono partner, mono beneficiary project, and this is causing a lot of trouble, to be honest. And it is Sapienza University, represented by Francesca Iandolo, the Impre Sapiens Research Center, plus a number of, as I mentioned before, European universities. The duration is 24 months, starting from April 2023 up to end of next month. And the overall funding, as you can see, is not a big amount of money. It's around 90,000 euro funding. I want to share, this is very technical, but I don't want to bother you with this information. This is the work plan of the project, in which I highlighted in yellow the time slot, the time frame of every workshop, conference, and seminars, plus the study visit. As you can see here, is the number of tasks. But again, of course, this presentation is available on all the participants, but I don't want to bother you once again with these informations. Now, let me start to the future of Fred2. We are approaching the end, and so we are thinking, I can officially declare, submit a new proposal. And so to do that, we took into consideration what it was the last year European anti-fraud program and the cold fish. As we can see, the budget is increased a lot. This is the last year figures, up to 25.5 million of euro, in which a big part allocated to anti-fraud. And so the training and conference budget for the last year, it was quite similar to the one in 2022. And the work program has been published in February last year, February 5th of February of 2024. We are anxiously and impatiently waiting for the publication of the new work program. I think that it takes hours more than days to submit, to have the new call issue for the future program for this year. Call for proposal. Of course, in the link there is the blue highlighted documents, the link, the hyperlink to the documents of the maintenance goal. Again, the infrastructure. Let me go very, very quickly. It's the same. We are adding two. The call for proposal is twofold in two topics. The one is the technical assistance, and the other one is again with the anti-fraud program training, conferences, staffing changes, and studies in which Fred2 belongs. Then the call ID is the same, of course. We analyze, of course, in terms of a continuation of the Fred2. So anyway, I don't think that it is dramatically changed this year, but we have to wait, of course, the new call for proposal. Topics for the program, for the objective of a proposal, as you can see, it's very, very wide. We want to focus on the letter E, the last bullet point of this slide, of course, because we did that. even probably with the experience we gained during the 2 years of projects, we can also think to other possibilities. But we will see when we will create the theme for the new proposals. The new proposal, sorry. As you can see, this is the eligibility conditions of the training call, focused, of course, on the training course. Public authorities or international organization. I'm focusing on that because, as already mentioned, now we want to dedicate our core of the project on the CAP, as already mentioned by the president of CREA, Professor Gocchi. And I prepared some data also to justify this potential choice we are having. Let me go further. Okay, this is the, um, the rule, the rules game of the project last year. I think it will be maintained the same. So we are thinking to produce, to prepare and submit the new project with the last, with the same time framing of 24 months. As eligible in the call for proposal. As you can see, the budget for every single measure is the one which is, it seems a little bit reduced since the 2022 calls, but we will see next. Of course, now I want to see that the criteria, because we are also belonging in a postgraduate master dealing with the project formulation. So we have to keep into deep consideration the criteria, the awarding criteria of a proposal. And so, as you know, everybody knows also because it's becoming a standard also for other kind of proposal, Erasmus Plus, for example, or CREA, is the threshold of 100 points as a maximum score and 60 the minimum. And so this is also the same for EUAF. As you can see, of course, the conformity of the EUAF program objective, quality, value for money, added value are the issues, the criteria on which we have to focus on. Consortium composition, let me give some future so think that we are start formulating. Of course, mono-beneficiary versus multi-beneficiary. Multi-beneficiary, I already mentioned, this is something that in the 2 years of lasting project of the project duration, it was really something difficult to manage. Because, first of all, we are a university, and the university is not a private company. So the financial office is more as a lot of internal procedure further to the EU procedure and the external procedure. And this is very difficult. For example, to pay the expenses of a workshop organized in Lapland, for example, being the Lapland University, one of the two partners, it was really difficult. The project coordinator, Professor Maria Felicia Renzo, is fully aware that in certain cases, she has to anticipate by her own the expenses of a catering, for example. And so this feature of being a mono-beneficiary schema is not helping us, to be honest. Now, let me come to what we are thinking of. So this year is an important anniversary, Mrs. Zara, for the Olaf, is the 25th anniversary. Anyway, I put the emoji. We are not waiting for more money to do that, because also we fully aware that the work program is related to the multi-annual financial framework of 2021 up to 2027. So it is predefined since years. So we cannot wait for more money or thinking about more money. Okay, so the budget will be an average divided by 7 of the multi-annual financial framework. I put another emoji praying and not mono-beneficiary, even I'm pretty convinced that also the new proposal should be focused on this feature of being mono-beneficiary. Well, we are saying that in few hours in a day we will have the pleasure to see the new work program. My bet is that the deadline for the proposal submission will be in May, like last year. My bet is the 6th of May, due to the fact that last year it was the 7th. Okie dokie. Why we want to focus over a cup, fortunate to what declared both by Professor Rocchi and Professor Yandova. It is, as Professor Rocchi mentioned, a big evidence that the CAP is the sector of the fraud and irregularities. Thanks to the AFCOS, I prepare some specific data afterwards. I'm taking more time because we are now. I think it should mean my speech should start now. So I'm taking more time. If I'm bothering you, please interrupt me because I know it is not very uh, happy and it's not a pleasure to follow long presentations. Anyway, possibility, it is not a possibility to involve the National Council of Research in Agriculture because we have this uh, luck to be the former president, former director of Impresarial Research Center being the president of the CREA. And so this helps a lot in managing, in considering, in taking into deep account the agricultural sector. Maintaining similar configuration with universities and AFCOS because it was a winning team, very effective. We worked with the Greek AFCOS, the Finnish AFCOS, the Belgian. The Belgian was not so productive like the other one, but we had a lot of good opportunities. Boosting the observatory we created, the activity we are looking for internal Italian funds because I think this is an important issue to be maintained and to be developed in future. Strategic partnership with technology provider, it is something more than welcome because we are pretty convinced that we have to make an extensive use of technologies, of new technologies. It is now a synonym of technology, AI, artificial intelligence, also in the management of the data related to anti-fraud could be something very interesting to be taken into consideration. These are the data to show that is showing, what is the reality of fraud and irregularities in the agriculture sector. As you can see here, there is a comparison between 2022 and 2023. This data, as you can see, has been taken from the annual report of Italian AFCOS presented to the parliament in the year 2023 is the last one. The next one will be presented in a short, but probably Colonel Cruciani can say more words about that better than me. As you can see, we have three. Sorry, this is I skipped to translate the first column of this slide. It is reported the three sectors in which the frauds in Italy are massive. The CAP, own resources, and the cohesion and fishery policy. These are the content in chronological order: the cohesion and fishery policy, the CAP, and own resources. And you can see the comparison of fraud. This is only frauds. In taking into consideration the two mentioned here. The same slide are reported for irregularities, and you can see the massive, the first table is related to the number of cases, and the second to the amount, the related amount. So you can see, and percentage, you can see big numbers. Anyway, this presentation is available. As you can see, having a graphical presentation of the previous table, you can see that own resources is, if we consider a circle, a cake, you can see the orange part, the common agricultural policy, is more or less the half of the both fraud and irregularities in our countries. You can see that in 2023 we had 614 cases reported to Olaf, 19 so from Olaf coming from Italian authorities, of course, an increase compared to the previous years of 20%. But this not it is as better than me, Professor Maria Felice Resta Arezzo, who is a deals with statistics, can say better than me that it is not an increase that could be caused from other reasons, not the or for technical reason due to the comparison, the different base for data taking into consideration. Again, as you can see, I wrote in red 293 cases, 47.72% are related to CAP. And this is a big number. This is the Italian trend, also to have data irregularities versus fraud. I know since the beginning of FRED2 project that probably it is difficult to, the boundary between an irregularity and a fraud is something that it is planting bibliography of text dealing, which is the difference between an irregularity and the fraud. And so it is not the case to deep this concept. Anyway, here you can see another cake related to that. Okay, this is I can promise to you, it's the last slide. This is the overall European Union, taking into consideration the 27 member states. The Italians ranks as the seventh country for both frauds and irregularities. And this is a reality that we have to keep into consideration, also involving other AFCOs in other countries. So we understood that there are certain countries in which frauds are something very rare and a special occasion, Finland, for example. And compare with other structure and similar different countries, what different is. So let's come back, and I'm finishing my presentation, to what is the future of FRED2. I want to take into consideration the first inspiration of the acronym FRED. And you can see FRED is fraud repression through education, but Fred Astaire, the famous dancer, is our inspiration. So we can think about alternatively to FRED 3, repression through education 3, or possibly a Ginger as a global investigation with a new generation of education and research in agriculture. So we can let Fred and Ginger dancing again. Thank you so much for your attention.